Investopedia. So layoffs this year have reached the highest level since the pandemic, according to one measure. So, government spending cuts and economic uncertainty are helping push employers to lay off workers at the fastest pace since the pandemic. Remember when the pandemic happened and a lot of people, maybe you was one of them, like take ownership of it. A lot of people was getting kind of bold and requesting certain privileges with their job, and they pretty much had. I remember on Reddit, it was like there was a post that was talking about, yeah, we got these companies by their balls, like we're gonna get as much money as you can. Then I remember, especially UPS. I think UPS they was doing like a contract negotiation with the unions, and it was getting like so much money was flowing in, and then as the pandemic started to go away, then they just start laying off a whole bunch of people, and it's just like, oh, they got their, hey, you thought you was good, but you saw who got the power. But anyways, Department of Government Efficiency and Weakened Economy. Okay, so more than half of the almost 700,000 job cuts. Let me go down. Man, this thing is freezing up on me. U.S. based employers have announced almost 700,000 job cuts so far this year, according to the new monthly report from business and executive coaching firm Challenger. It's the highest level. So this was in June. So definitely been more cuts recently. Left more than 1.4 million people out of work during the first 5 months of 2020. Um, oh, since the pandemic. Okay. Announced layoffs in May were actually lower than April's level. Okay, so basically it's just talking about. Um, okay, they're just promoting themselves. Is this the end of it? But yeah, you got a whole bunch of layoffs that's happening. So let me give you something to think about. Maybe you're in that position where you feel like you can never lose your job, but it happens to a lot of companies. You're especially starting to hear about it more. Maybe because COVID happened and then there's a lot of layoffs, and then now it's kind of happening again, especially in the tech industry. I think it's just a lot of bloat, and it's just correction of the market. So some of the things that you might hear that I hear people saying a lot is, it's just part of. They happen every year. It's just part of business. You're good. You're going to be safe. Unemployment is still low. The labor market is still strong. These cuts are mostly in tech. I remember when a lot of people were saying that. It's like, not necessarily. Entertainment. Lots of people don't work in. They don't apply to me. You just have to find another job quickly. The opportunities are still there. So let me just read out some facts. So you already know about the $700,000 job cuts. It's up from 80% from the same period last year. The layoff and discharge rate in voluntary separations for August 2025 was about 1.1%. Layoffs are not only in tech, but retail, government, obviously, and service sectors are also seeing big cuts. So it's not so much that people are losing their jobs, just that too many built a life and income on one job, and one employer and one paycheck. And this is one thing that when we talk about financial literacy in school, they should really. I don't know why any of these. Well, I'm sure some of the schools are switching it up, but these schools never really talked about being financially secure and having multiple streams of income growing up. Uh, when I was at elementary school, middle school, high school, even college, there wasn't no personal finance. Um, so just relying on one thing, if that one thing goes away, then boom, you're stuck. And once again, just going back to COVID, a whole lot of people should have kind of picked up on, oh, wait a minute. I need, and people's hustling, people's getting like side businesses and stuff like that. I think it was one of the years where so many people the amount of people that was registering businesses jumped by the according to the SBA. So a lot of people was trying to figure out other ways, and I think it went back down after the the country like started to open back up. So if you're just relying on one pillar, that structure, your structure is not going to be strong, especially when a crack occurs. Boom, that one thing is going to be gone. So um, one thing you want to think about, if you lost your job tomorrow, I mean, can you survive for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months? This is why I talk about the audit. It's very clear and apparent. You must understand how you spend your money. It's not just the physical dollar amount. It's also like your habits, your mentality, how you see the world. What do you find interesting? Why are you spending so much on this thing? Is something triggering these buying habits? It gets psychological. So it's really important to do those audits. You could do it on your own. I also do it myself. And I can help you with that. All those links are in this video's description. If you want to do, at least start with that three month audit so that you go into the year with a new mind. You can actually make your New Year's resolution and saying like, you know what, this is the year I'm going to be financially stable. I'm going to be free. I'm going to have so much money in this one year than I ever had before. It all starts with understanding and tracking your money and why you're spending the way you're spending. So instead of just saying like I need job security, what you need is income mobility and resilience. So if you have multiple streams coming in, passive, like be of sell something. You already sell yourself every day when you're interacting with people. Either people are gonna like you or they're not gonna like you. So you gotta have that mindset when it comes to sell something. Sell something that doesn't require you to be at the job. Something online. Maybe you have a certain unique skill. It's not so much that you're trying to. I mean, maybe obviously you're trying to make a lot of money, but kind of approach it where, hey, if I can make a little something and I see some promise, maybe I can put more investment into it, but at least I can get a little trick or something, even if it's like $300 a month or something extra. That's still something where you got that cushion, it can build up. You get better at a skill that you work on. You could put yourself in a better position. So you don't want to wait for bad news to hit you. Always prepare and be proactive. Like the reactive stuff, it's it's just going to slow you down and keep you behind it. And next thing you know, it's going to be another year that passes, and then another year that passes. You're just reacting to news and this and that, and then another, and then in like five years, you're going to look back and say, okay, I'm kind of in the same position. Like, okay, COVID started in 2020. You still have a lot of people that are in the same financial situation, the same situation, job situation. It's just like in 5 years, it went by quick, right? In 5 years, you're still in the same place. It's like, oh, that's 5 years of your life that you can't get back. You're closer to the end. So keep that in mind. Like, don't waste your time. Anyways, here's some facts. So job cuts are rising in every major industry. So not just isolated sectors. Even with low aggregate unemployment, layoffs signals structural weaknesses. Many firms cut to restructure or automate, and it's not necessarily economic collapse. It's more so just corrections in the job market. So your job might be safe, but the business environment or company structure might not be. So that's one thing I wish I would have been taught earlier when I was working for like just a company. Think like an entrepreneur. So don't just do your job and just be like an employee. Actually think about like, okay, if I go in and I try to understand the business and what's going on in the industry just a little bit. You don't have to, obviously you're not trying to be a CEO or whatever or a CFO. But if you kind of understand the industry and what's going on, you can kind of foresee if that company is going to have problems. If the company shares numbers with you or with the employees, you could start to see, oh snap, I better start looking for employment. Like, so this is one thing that My friend told me he's in the pharmaceuticals, so a pharmacist, and he said he will pay attention to the market contracts that the company gets, and he said he noticed that very senior level people were retiring or quitting, and he was like, "Wait a minute, something seems off." And then I believe he said he starts like some people was getting laid off, and then he was like, "Oh, okay." It's something that those senior people knew that he didn't know. But anyways, don't just be an employee. Um, Try to really understand the business, because if the industry is not treating your company well, the company you work for well, then eventually they're gonna get rid of you, or they're just gonna just cut off all the people that are not valuable to them. So there's no more loyalty in these companies. They don't give pensions anymore. So you really got to look out for yourself, understand your leverage. So leverage, the skills you have give you leverage, adaptability, and just being prepared and ready for what happens. So if you're in that position where you're about to be laid off or you have been laid off, here's some just 5 steps that you can do. Um, Obviously, I said it before, build multiple income streams, so side hustle, freelance, and pies. You already know all this stuff. There's plenty of videos on YouTube that talk about how you can make money. Really, you need to focus on, I would say the first place you want to start is, what do you want your life to look like? And then start assessing what skills do you have. And then once you assess what skills do you have, what capabilities do you have, then start researching, okay, what seems to match the skills that you have and then the lifestyle that you want. And then you could kind of go from there, and then you can start looking at all these YouTube videos. But the first thing you need to understand is, what is it exactly that you want and why? Like, get to that question. Have the 6 to 12 month emergency fund, survival fund. Start with $500. If that's all you can do, then 1,000. Put it like, it'll even help if you put it in a different bank account, so that you don't have that immediate access to it. Like, you want to put some barriers and friction to you actually taking some of that money, because what's going to happen, something gets tight, you're like, all right, let me just pull from that. Like, oh, you really gotta try to let that money sit in there. Upskill yourself, future proof yourself. So look at where the trend is going, what do you have an interest in. That interest, look at the industry and see, okay, what skills are beneficial to me. Invest in that. There's a lot of free courses online that you can take. Books, I love reading books. You learn so much for really cheap. And if you do that, then you're going to be in a better position than most people in this country. 4, audit your expense. Know what your fixed costs and your variable costs are. So if your income falls like 30%, okay, what do you have to get off, or what do you have to get rid of? How do you make the adjustment? Once again, it comes to, like, you need that financial audit, to some type of paper where you can look, or spreadsheet, whatever, and see, okay, these are my expenses every month. This is what it is. Oh, I can definitely cut out a lot from this category. I can move this. I can move this to savings or investing. Like, you want to have that data in front of you so you can make, like, you are the CEO of your life. So think about, what does a CEO of like a Amazon or Microsoft or whatever, how do you think they process the running of the company? They need data in front of them so they can make the best decision. So you can do that for your own life, do that for yourself. You need data, you need the information, and then analyze it. And if you need help, you can always go online. You can contact me. You can ask someone that you know that's very successful. Webinar, like, there's so many ways where you can get that help. You gotta also invest as well in your own education, and you'll be way better off. So, and then the last thing, treat your job like one asset of many. So recognize you might outlive, or you will outlive at some point, your employer or your role. Think of your career as owning an asset, not just being an employee. So, like, even if you're just working a job, it's just to make some money. What's the next step? What are your next 5 moves? What are you gonna do after, like, what are you doing with the money? If it's just to hang out, like, you're gonna have to sacrifice something. Even if you have to do baby steps, if you're going out four times a week, cut it down to three. Like, I'm not one of those ones that say, "Oh, make this drastic change," because usually it's not gonna stick. But you want to kind of um, take that in mind. So, anyways, losing a job is traumatic. It isn't just business as usual. It is a change of business environment always, but you don't have to wait for the layoff. Like, be prepared in all situations. And as you're going through all that stress, that high emotions, you build that discipline. Stick to building that discipline, and then you're just gonna create a foundation that's so strong that the next time something happens, you're gonna be good regardless. Um, yeah, and that's my advice for those of you that are getting laid off.